Good evening. My name is Odie Hawkins, and once again, it's Monday evening, and I'm here to make an effort to acquaint prospective readers with some of my 40 published books. Half of them have been published by a defunct publishing company called Holloway House, and I have self-published the other 20. Before I go any further, I'd like to have my partner in this conspiracy join me.
Okay.
Zola Salena-Hawkins.
I'm coming. Remember.
I remember.
And it was not a half, but like maybe a third. There's only 17 of the 40-some books were published in Holloway House.
Oh, good. I can never keep the number straight in my head because I'm writing books. What we decided to do as an explanation for why we're here, we decided to make an effort to publicize these books by sitting here at this table talking about each book that I've written, not the future one, but the past ones, whether it was yesterday or last year. We decided to talk about these books and maybe give you a sample reading from the books and see what you think, so that we could say in defense, in perpetration of what I'm doing, here it is. It's like a homemade thing, sort of a homemade thing.
But before we begin, why don't you get you some libation?
I'm drinking ginger beer.
And maybe some popcorn.
In my own little cup.
Little snack, midnight snack. Well, it's not quite midnight. Evening snack. Not too sweetie and not too, well, healthy enough. And sit down and enjoy this YouTube.
Okay. Let me start by saying that I call Zola Salena my co-conspirator in this because she is, in every sense of the word, aside from being my wife. About 20 years ago, I think we decided to start a publishing company.
Yes, sir.
About 20 years ago, we called it the Cosmic Muffin Publishing Company, and I'm using the affectionate title that I use for her very often, the affectionate name, the Cosmic Muffin, because my friend Cedric Adams came up with that name. And why? Because this lady makes things happen.
Oh, we try.
This lady makes things happen. I know, I don't want to cause you to start hiding your face or anything, but I'm lucky in my life to be able to have someone who's close to me and doing what we're doing. That's the first thing. The second thing, which I've already talked about, is to honestly put in front of you, the prospective reader, the prospective buyer of one of these books, what they're about. I've had friends over the years say, they nicknamed me the underground master because I've had movie scripts, television scripts, radio scripts,
radio
plays, all kinds of short story collections and things over the years.
NAACP award.
A NAACP award, the Image Award for a piece that I wrote for Alex Haley and Norman Lear. So, I mean, I've been doing this for a while, but I mainly have focused on the books because scripts are things that can be collaborative, and I can say I wrote the screenplay or I wrote the television play, but someone else might alter it, somebody change it. In this case, with the books, I can say, well, this is 99% mine because unless I've had the opportunity to have a really brilliant editor, a really brilliant agent, mostly I've had to do this by myself. I am going to be reading from a book called Matador Negro Azucar.
Matador Negro Azucar. And here's the cover. And the cover was done.
Tony Gleason.
Tony Gleason. Our
Tony
favorite artist
Gleason,
and
a very
author.
fabulous artist.
Artist and author, Tony Gleason. Check him out on YouTube.
And as you can see, the man on the cover is an African. In this case, he's an African American. And here's the sub-story to it. I became interested in the bullfight when I was about 15. I was working at the Drake Hotel, and there was a man working in the kitchen who looked like Cantinflas. For those of you know that Cantinflas was considered the Charlie Chaplin of Mexican films way back then. His name was Moreno. Anyway, my friend Cantinflas started talking to me, and he asked me if I'd ever seen a movie about bullfighting. No, I've never seen a movie about bullfighting. He had 2 tickets, and he told me that he and his wife were going to go, but she had to do some work, and he had to bake cakes that evening. So he gave me 2 tickets to the bullfights. In Chicago, there's a very famous movie theater called the World Playhouse, I think about 12th and Michigan Avenue, very close to Roosevelt University. Okay. Never seen a bullfight. I mean, unless it was just in passing. So I go to see it. It was the life story of a bullfighter named Manolete. Manolete, a tall, sad-looking guy who I thought after a while was doing some kind of tricks or something. Maybe it was trick photography, because he was leading this big, huge bull around him with a cape.
Very close to him.
Very close to him. I mean, you know, aren't you a bit fearful that you might hit the horn? So that was my introduction. And I can fast forward over the years in some kind of strange way. Shortly after I saw the documentary of Manolete, they started showing the bullfights in Chicago on something called KMEX, channel 37, something like that.
34, 37, yeah.
And it was on Wednesday night. No one, none of my friends, none of the people in my community were interested in the corrida.
Which is?
The bullfight.
Okay.
The bullfight. Some they call it La Fiesta Brava. My Spanish is not perfect, but I know some words. Anyway, I asked my friend Nick if I could come to go to his house to see the bullfight on Wednesday night. He said yes. Now, what I would like to make plain very soon, very quickly, I am not a dyed-in-the-wool aficionado. We don't go to Mexico to see the latest bullfighter.
But we do belong to a club.
We belong to Los Aficionados de Los Angeles.
Wonderful.
And one of the reasons why we got into the club is because after having seen many bullfights over the years, both on television and in person, I decided to introduce my wife many years ago now, Tony.
Yes.
I decided to introduce her to something that I knew something about.
Well, he was so interested in bullfighting that I checked the internet, found out that there was a bullfighting club in Los Angeles. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, honey.
Yeah.
And all you wonderful folks, one day we will be back. But, you know, a wonderful experience. And when they would show the film, sometimes I would hide because it was quite new to me.
Used to do that, not
But then I fall in love with it. As he tends to be exiting, I tend to be coming into it.
Well, I think in my case, I wind up with too many conflicting notions about it. On one side, I'm with the people who say, well, it's animal torture because the animal didn't choose to be there, and he's there because they want to make a spectacle out of it. That's one side.
But, you know, I think it needs to be clarified that sometimes, you know, everybody thinks at a bullfight, the bull is killed. But it was a surprise to me that always the bull is not killed.
Okay, in the Spanish fight, they are sometimes granted the indulto, a pardon. If the bull has shown himself to be of marvelous character, and has all of the noble points that people feel that should be preserved as a seed bull for the next generation, then they will pardon him.
Selfish.
Give him the
reasons. Okay.
There's money in it.
Okay.
One of the reasons why bullfighting probably will be with us a long, long time is that in Spain and in Mexico, it is big business.
And in fact, they have it here in San Diego.
In San Diego,
but that's not. That's
okay. Someone was telling us that they have bloodless bullfights.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. That's the Portuguese side of it, where they decided to do that. I don't know enough about it to talk about it.
But we're interested in it. Yeah.
But over the years, after having, like I said, seen many bullfights and attended bullfights, I decided, well, you write about everything else. Why don't you write about something you know about the bullfight? And I went back and forth about it and decided to write it. I came up with the idea of a young man named Chester L. Simmons, who happens to go to see a documentary about the great bullfighter Manolete, and decides he wants to do that too. Okay, now, you know, as most of you know, Chicago doesn't have a lot of bullfights. and
Understatement. Understatement.
And when I started digging into this, you know, I had people just laugh. What's he doing? Once again, for those who know about it, Chicago has the stockyards where they have a lot of cattle that they kill, but no bullfights. So I had to establish a motivation that was strong enough for this character, and the motivation to fight bulls can be so strong that people will go way out of their way. I lived in Spain for a year, and I can remember young men who would travel for hundreds of miles with a little raggedy cape because they heard about a village bullfight, and they could go and show off this stuff. So that, you know, the motivation is strong. I guess it's like anything else. If you're following what goes on right now, the Olympics are on. And you see in Paris. I mean, think about all of the wonderfully conditioned young people who had to, not just Simone Biles and people we know, but people who've been training for years in order to be able to show their stuff. So that's what the motivation was. When this guy decides that he wants to get that feeling, he wants to know what it feels like to see a 1,500-pound bull rushing at his cape, and he could pretend to be Manolete. It's something like ultimate imagination carried into reality. You know, I think I want to do this. This is one of the reasons why I've nicknamed the character Azucar, sugar, is because so many African-American athletes have been named Sugar. Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Daddy, so-and-so, so-and-so, so. So this guy's name.
And for some of your fans, don't be confused that this character is named Chester L. Simmons.
No, this is
if you
another
read, yes, it's another Chester L. Simmons. There are a lot of Chester L. Simmons and Odie and Hawkins work.
Right. In my head, Chester Simmons has a lot of facets. There's a Chester who's a middle-aged man, and then there's Chester who's 15-year-old. I got stuck on the name because it just seemed like just such an ordinary name, Chester. Not only that, I've known a couple of Chesters in my life. Okay, so incidentally, I should also like to mention that I've dedicated this book to two people. The first one is to my dear wife, friend, lover, companion on this journey, Zola Salena-Hawkins, a.k.a. the Cosmic Muffin. The other person that I dedicated it to is a man named Manny Barron. I can tell you about Manny Barron in the next session we have, or in the next session, because he has something to do with book 2 of this book.
Okay, one last thing. There is on the back of the book, a very interesting photo of Odie Hawkins and
Oh, it's your friend, huh?
yeah, Nima Raspar. He did the scene where Odie is surrounded with books, and this is a normal scene. So Nima, great photographer too.
I think what we're saying here is for those of you who may be interested in writing, I've had the opportunity to lead writing workshops over the years. For one 4-year period, I was in prison, not as a prisoner, but as a teacher.
Clarification, please.
As a teacher at Chino in Southern California, and then at San Quentin in Northern California. And one of the things I always used to tell the students is, you know, write about what you know about. Mm-hmm. I don't want to tell you a lot about what some of my convicted friends were writing about, but it was awfully graphic.
Very interesting story.
Very interesting story. I like that. Better. So Chester decides to go to Mexico because it's the only place that's in this hemisphere that he can get to quite easily. And when he decides to make that decision, of course, his people line up behind him. They still a bit, you know, like the boy is cracked, but you know, but he's 19 years old,
right?
And young men deserve to make mistakes.
Follow their dream.
Follow your dream. I think that's the basic point of this thing.
Yeah,
because you decide.
I'm just saying, if you don't want to be 50 years old and say, I should have done this when I
wish I had done.
I wish I had done.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. I wish I had.
Yeah, I wish I had done. No, oh, please. Mm-hmm. I could just see an epithet. I wish I had done it. Ugh. No. He manages to do it. He goes from Chicago to California and takes a bus from San Diego down to Mexico City. So it's an introspective novel because for those of us who have taken long trips on the bus or train, I don't know, a plane is different. You look out at clouds and, you know, even if it takes 13 hours to get from New York to Ghana, you still haven't seen anything but clouds.
Right.
If you took a 14-hour trip anywhere to the United States on the ground, you'd see things.
Right.
You know, I can remember taking a trip, and I looked, I saw a herd of gazelles in Nevada somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were there, and the train was going around a curve. Anyway, coming back to the subject. He goes to Mexico, and through his acquaintanceship with his friend Cantinflas, he winds up living with some of Cantinflas's relatives in an area called Tlatelolco. I may not be pronouncing it exactly correctly, but it's a pretty rundown, bad place to be. He can only spend a limited amount of time there. What he's going to do, what he does one Sunday is take a muleta, the big cloth, puts it down into his pants leg. Homemade. That's stressed there.
Yes.
Puts it down into his pants like a crutch. And I've seen pictures of wild young men in Mexico City. They call them espontaneos. While the bullfight is going on, the guy may jump into the ring with a pair of banderillas, or he may have a muleta and try to give a few passes to the bull just to show that he can do it. Chester has decided to do the same thing in order to get noticed by somebody, and if he is noticed by somebody, it might be the police.
Yes.
And they take him straight to...
That's where people, especially in youth, even as old, you don't connect the dots.
You don't connect the dots.
There may be consequences for your actions.
Okay, so he decides to do the espontaneo thing, and I'd like to give you a little taste of What happened?
Listen.
The bullfighter, he manages to give the bull a couple of passes, and the bullfighter, his name is Manolo Marquez, who's a nice guy, gives him a big hug and says, "You crazy, man." Maybe he was very pleased because I had stolen, maybe he was very pissed because I had stolen his bull for a few passes. But it wouldn't have been good PR for him to trot over and run his sword to my chest. What could I say? Suerte. Luck. That was the only word I could think of before the monosabios hustled me into the cajon, the circular alley between the fence surrounding the bull ring and the first row of seats. 6 burly Mexican police pulled me out of the gentle hands of the monosabios and hustled me into the cool darkness underneath the stadium seats. Uh-oh, this is where they're going to beat the shit out of me. I was grateful to be disappointed about my expected ass kicking when they pushed me into an office. Gracias. This large walnut-colored man spoke to the policia and gave one of them, the man with the most stripes on his arm, a fat bundle of peso notes. The cops bowed out and left me alone with Don Luis Miguel Flores.
Uh-oh.
Of course, I didn't know that Senor Flores was one of the major figures in Mexican bullfighting. And also he sold a little cocaina on the side. He was a promoter, had an interest in several bull rings, owned 3 or 4 outright, had an interest in several, had a small stable of bullfighters under his wing, and he had his fingers in a lot of pies I didn't know about then. Senor Flores looked like a Mexican version of Jackie Gleason, the old comedian that I used to look at on the late night TV sometime, on a television show called The Honeymooners.
Yes, yes. It's amazing.
He wore dark tinted glasses, a pearl gray Stetson, and smelled like he had just taken a baby powder bath.
Okay.
He gestured for me to sit in a chair on the other side of his desk. He kicked his cowboy boots up on the side of his desk, lit a flowery smelling Cuban cigar, blew a few smoke rings into the ceiling. He was obviously someone who enjoyed the good life and was used to taking his time about things.
Yeah.
I just sat there on the edge of my seat, coming back to reality. I could have gone straight to jail for what I did. You speak Spanish? Not well, mostly words about the bullfight. He was quiet for a few beats. I found there was a habit he had, a way to digest and analyze. What's your name? Chester Simmons? Chester Simmons? Yes, Chester Simmons Jr. Where are you from, Chester? Chicago? Chicago?
Gets funnier all the time.
Yes. It was almost funny the way he repeated what I said, as though he couldn't believe what he was hearing. There are no bulls in Chicago? I've been there. Where did you learn the Arusina? From watching the bullfights on television. From watching the bullfights on television? Yeah. He smiled and took off his dark glasses. His eyes were bloodshot and piercing.
No.
He polished his glasses with a designer cloth. Bullfights on television, huh? Yes. So you want to be a matador, huh? Yes. His question didn't need a lot of extra words to answer, and I got the impression he liked that. He also had a very interesting accent, like some of his words sounded Jewish. Okay, I'll be your manager. I felt like jumping across the desk to hug him. I was going to be a full-fledged matador. I had a manager. You living in Mexico? Yes, I have visitors We have to get you a permanent residence card. We will take care of that. Here is my deal. Take it or leave it. I didn't like the tone of that. Take it or leave it. Oh, what the hell? What did I have to lose?
Famous last words.
What did I have to lose? You got that right.
Right.
I'm going to put you under my personal contract.
Uh-oh.
My contract will explain what that means. Do you smoke dope? Drink a lot? Run after the putas? I nodded. No, no, no. Good. How old are you? This is a crucial question. I wanted to say 17, but I didn't think he would buy it. I'm 19. 19, huh? You're getting a late start. Well, you have the heart, and we can improve the skills if you're willing to work hard. I am.
You?
Where are you staying? I'm renting a space from some friends in Telauteloco. Telauteloco? We'll have to take you away from there.
Yes.
Good, I'm ready to go. I have some properties in the Polanco section. Are you familiar with the section? Only from reading the travel books. I have 3 other young men boxers who are sharing this house I own in Polanco. It is near Chapultepec, so that you can do your road work within. We have a complete gymnasium where you can exercise. You must be in excellent condition, have very strong legs to fight the bulls or other people.
Or other people.
Or other people.
I didn't remember that. Okay.
Why? Yeah. Once again, that silent smile and an elegant, indulgent puff on a cigar. I will grant you a weekly allowance in pesos until you have your first bite. And then I will deduct the allowance from that. One last thing. My contract will show that I am to receive 65% of your earnings from the bulls, as well as endorsements, etc., etc., etc. What can I say? It was a take it or leave it situation. I had no choice but to shake his pudgy hand. Also, we'll have to find you another name. Chester Simmons sounds like a bookkeeper, not a matador.
True.
We both smiled this time. When can I go to the house in Polanco? Anytime. There are people there who make you welcome and comfortable. Here, show them my card. He scribbled on the back of the card, "This is my Matador Negro. Take a good care of him, Flores." I floated under the arena office. I was about to become a made man, a matador. So that's he starts. That's the way he gets into it. Unfortunately, we find this in a short time that Senor Flores is sort of like a slave master who is using him.
Well, you're quick to sign the contract, okay? You tell it's fool's gold, you swear it's gold, and you sign the contract and repent in not leisure.
Well, yeah. But he wanted it so badly, and here was somebody offering him the opportunity to do what he wanted to do. So, like you said, what have you got to lose?
He didn't think he had anything to lose. He later found out he had a lot
He had a lot to lose.
Especially at 65% of your earnings and endorsements. And
well, wait, he's signing a contract in Spanish, which he doesn't.
He doesn't read anyway. Okay, so he doesn't know if it was like 100%. So.
But keep in mind, he's 19 years old, and this is his opportunity to.
Do you remember 19?
19.
Do you remember 19?
I don't remember 19. I put it away from me a long time. Get rid of that. But he has a chance to, as we said earlier, to follow his dreams.
That's very important.
And he does. Things happen, both good and bad, as you could well imagine. One of the things I can say, after having spent some time in Mexico from time to time over the years, since I've been in California at one point, because Mexico is so close, we've driven up and down from here to Mexico City almost sometimes on a monthly basis. So I can say that the book is an introduction to Mexico, both the good, the bad, and
Some of the Aztec foods,
oh,
I think, in there, yeah.
one of the things that I'd like to say that I'm introducing some writers, I mean some readers to, is authentic pre-Columbian Mexico, which means that there was a type of cuisine happening before the Spanish showed up with the pig. I can think of dinners that I had that seemed to be composed of mostly rose petals and wonderful desserts made out of insects, and you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed at what you can do with a truly vegetarian diet, and people who have developed recipes for different things that you wouldn't think about. Well, you just made recently a papaya pie.
Yes, a papaya pie.
Yeah, I mean,
Find it on the internet.
I grew up on sweet potato pie, so
Well, you
papaya
know,
pie.
we had it in the soups that I made, but I was like, there's got to be something else you could do with it.
And you did it.
And then I also found out you can eat the seeds, so it's a nice thing to
Well,
know.
I'm suggesting in the future the pie might have walnuts in it, or a little rum. You know,
We're considering this.
it could be rum flavored. I could see a piece of pie that would have a lot of good things in it.
Yes. We're
So,
discussing it.
That's the introduction to the book for this evening.
And more than likely, you would have to order it directly from Author House. It was being sold on Amazon, but now only the second version, Book 2, is being sold on Amazon. I don't know why they took it off.
Book 2 is this big.
Yeah. So this one is readable. And, I mean, how many pages is it? It is a total of 272 pages. So
It's a good weekend read.
it's a
I've
fun
had-
read. There's romance in it.
Oh, that's romance.
Okay. A lot of tongue-in-cheek also.
lot of tongue in cheek. I think for those who are familiar with some of the books I've written, you can always count on me to play little word jokes and fool around a little bit.
Yeah, and you did a presentation of the book at the book club, at the Bullfighting Club too.
Oh yes, Los Aficionados de Los Angeles. We can't. I'm with Zola. You can't talk about it. It's one of the oldest bullfighting clubs west of the Mississippi, and
Really great group of folks.
they are not apologetic about being bullfight fans, aficionados. They just simply say that it's there, and for those who can appreciate it, welcome. They're not trying to convince anybody of anything.
No.
That's one of the things I like about them. We've gone to events, seen documentaries and so forth that would make you, cringe a little bit.
Yes. And then they have a great magazine.
Great magazine
That
coming
goes
out.
along with it, yeah.
Uh,
So
So look, we're going to
get back to
get back to doing this other thing now,
yes.
and we will see you again next Monday at
Okay.
approximately the same time.
But you can always find us on YouTube. Just check out our channel, and these are new moments in time. Oh,
Buy one of these.
please.
It'll do you good.
Oh, your website is www.odiehawkins.com.
Thank you so much. Another one on the pile.
It's growing.